see this autopilot work.
We'll do some get up and go here. Not quite from zero, but you know, still get a feel for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are officially an autopilot. John, great to have you here.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Thank you for being willing to participate in our Mornings with Millennials edition.
Definitely.
While we let the car drive itself, I'm going to ignore that call. Sorry about that.
That's all good.
Cool. So I think we're just going to jump right in on it then.
This
and
is
want to hear a little bit about you and a little bit on your background before we jump into today. We'll cover a little bit of Lender.
Cool.
We'll cover a little bit of what you're up to with SEDS, and then actually, why don't we get started with what is your favorite superhero or superpower?
Favorite superpower? Because superhero I've got down, it's Wolverine. I'm a sucker. That's just, dude's like an onion, so many layers. But, and I'm a huge comic nerd, so I grew up on Wolverine. Favorite superpower? Probably healing factor. I've been watching a lot of Luke Cage, and I know that's not healing factor, but it's definitely. I mean, you're not going anywhere, and you can do what you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's,
sounds good.
Yeah.
Why don't you go into? I know you and I were talking a little bit earlier about you actually before Lender, before SEDS and everything. You had a record label, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So, right out of high school, I was really involved with the Wilmington, North Carolina music scene.
Okay.
From like 14 until I got out of high school, and then until I joined the military. And so, right out of high school, I was like, I'm starting a record label. I know all these people. I've got a few connections, and I'm just going to go for it and figure it out as I go along. And so, after 3 years and 3 releases and touring a bunch and having a really great time, I decided I didn't exactly have the experience that I needed to take this full board. So that ended and was one of my first great failures, which I learned quite a bit from.
I bet.
And was an absolute incredible ride.
Yeah.
While I was going on.
So how did you go from record label to you joined the Air Force?
Yes.
After, correct?
Yeah.
What was that transition like?
So, Air Force decision was essentially after failing with the record label, I felt like I needed a kick in the ass for discipline and everything. And I also didn't want to get shot at.
Fair
necessarily.
enough.
Yeah. So, and I was always kind of a tech nerd, and I knew there was a lot of cool stuff. So, went into the Air Force to get a little discipline, get my ass kicked, and come out and go for my education.
So how long were you in the Air Force?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where were you? Were you technically deployed somewhere for that then, or?
Yeah, so I was up in Alaska for the entire thing. Did communication navigation mission systems on AWACS. So that's where I got the aerospace bug. And
very cool.
Yeah, definitely. Watching those, 4,500 horsepower engines that fly in and being 10 feet away from them, or 100 feet away from them, and whatnot. It's pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like that's a pretty good segue then. So is that what kind of led you towards SEDS then? Or how did you end up, once you went back to school, how did SEDS come into the picture?
So, yes. So I was going into economics because I knew that I wanted to be on the business end of things because I loved it so much with the record label. So I went into economics for kind of a broad idea of what I needed to know on that end. And then I was working at a bank, and I went to San Francisco, and I was flying back, and met one of my best friends, crazy lady on a plane that worked at Salesforce. And why I call her crazy lady on a plane was we met within 2 seconds, flash friends, talking about our entire lives, and she was saying, the hell you're going into the banking industry? You're not. You had a record label. You're obviously way too passionate for that. Go actually do what you're gonna do. Don't. And she was talking about how she previously worked at NASA.
Okay.
So it was just like, yeah, you're right. I really liked aerospace while I was in the Air Force. Maybe I'll go to a career fair, check out Boeing, see what there is. So I went to a career fair. Boeing shut me down and was like, you don't have any leadership experience. Come back when you do. So I was like,
Gotcha.
I'll go try to get some of that. And went to ASU's career fair, which had like 700 tables for all the different clubs at ASU. And see my panic because it beeped.
Yeah, sorry about that. It says hold steering wheel. I am holding the steering wheel. Tesla, if you see this, I was holding the steering wheel, I promise.
I'm just amazed how good of a job. So, went to the club fair, and then went through a few tables. It was like cool technology, and then saw this table with rockets and rovers and that all these students had built, and footage of high altitude balloons, and I was just like, yes, please.
That looks pretty cool.
Exactly. And it happened to be students for the exploration and development of space at ASU,
Okay.
at ASU.
Very cool.
So got more and more involved. Went to their first meeting. Turns out they were looking for a treasurer. I just happened to be an economics major, and there was my leadership opportunity. So became treasurer, and the president and the team at the time and I kind of really kicked ass and worked really well and grew the local organization, and until we got to the point where we went to Space Vision, which was our national conference, 2012.
Yep.
And I decided that we could do it better. No offense, 2012. And I was just like, yeah, we're putting in a bid tonight. This was at Space Vision 2012. Votes were going out the next day, and I was just like, okay, we're running Space Vision 2013. And they're like, these proposals take 2 months to put in. That's a suicide mission. Absolutely not. A few hours go by of me just prodding my friend Ben, who was the president, and then he was like, okay, fine, but you're chairing it. I'm not about that life right now. So we did. We put in the proposal. Ben pitched it. We won, and it was a suicide mission. And it took over an entire year of my life. But we had Bill Nye and Phil Plait, and about 450 students from around the country and speakers from around the world come to ASU. And
that's awesome.
It was an absolute blast. Learned more than I could ever imagine.
Sounds like some good experience and leadership on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So once I got into that, I was pretty hooked into the space bug and everything. And then I got involved with the national, and then that's a whole other story. So,
definitely.
Yeah.
So I think recently too, Jeff Bezos is in the picture for SEDS.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
I'm still giddy and getting chills.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. By the way, did you watch the video this morning of their 5th test flight with escape capsule?
I did not. I heard about it.
You gotta check it out.
It went well, right?
The booster was supposed to explode once the capsule escaped.
Yeah.
And instead, they sent it all the way up and landed it again for the 5th time.
Wow.
Spoilers.
Spoiler, yeah.
Awesome. Absolutely incredible. Anyway, Jeff Bezos runs Blue Origin. That was the segue. And he was actually the second president of the Princeton chapter in the 80s
of
SEDS USA. So SEDS, if you don't know was started in 1980, 81 by Peter Diamandis, Bob D. Richards, Scott Sharfman, Todd DiPaoli, and as a way to promote student leadership in the space industry and kind of get the excitement back that was starting to wane since the Apollo missions.
Okay.
And so Jeff Bezos was the second president of the Princeton chapter, and recently the entire national organization's been kicking a lot of ass and really working hard and doing a lot of background stuff. We've more than doubled in size over the past 2 years. We've raised more money than ever. We're got our conference more successful than ever, and so we've kind of re-engaged our board of advisors, with Bezos getting starting Blue Origin or having as much success as he was or is, and with Amazon doing as incredibly well, now is kind of the time to ask. And so our board of advisors were really incredible, and they were like, hey, they got their stuff together. So Jeff Bezos won the Heinlein Award, which is the third time they've given it out, and it's a $250,000 cash award and a really cool sword. He kept the sword.
Seen the sword. Didn't Peter Diamandis challenge him?
or
something, right?
Dr. Diamandis just put a video out essentially saying, who do you think would win in a sword fight for the three Heinlein Trust winners, Elon Musk, Peter, and Jeff Bezos. Yeah, that's a really fun video. We gotta post that soon. So $250,000 award, and I believe it was Peter that was pressing him, saying, "Come on, you gotta donate this to SEDS. They're doing a great job." And so Saturday morning, I started getting texts while I'm at dinner with Kara and saying, "Congrats, proud of you. You deserve this. Great job." And I was just like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And then he gave the entire prize to SEDS, and it was just, and immediately, tears rolling, biggest smile on my face.
It's a big deal.
And I looked up, and Kara was like, well, this night's over for a little while, isn't it? I was just like, love you, I'm sorry. and told her, and she was like, champagne. It was really exciting because we can just do so much more. It stabilizes the organization for generations to come. We have an endowment that's been that we've been working on, and this is just a huge boom, so it's really great.
And just as a final note on SEDS, to give people a little bit of an idea as to scale, how many universities or how many students?
Yeah, so we have about 60 universities now, up from 28 2 years ago, and a lot in California, all over the country. We have North Dakota, Georgia, Arizona, all over the country, and their international chapters as well, which are doing really, really well. UK SEDS, SEDS India, and others. So about 2,500 to 3,000 members in the US right now, and it has absolutely changed my life, and I've seen a lot of people that have just had their lives changed by it. So if there are any students out there watching this, start a chapter. If there isn't one at your school, and get involved, because it's awesome. So
can I link your information below in the bio for them to reach out?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Cool. We'll do that.
Definitely.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're actually at 16 minutes.
Oh, gotcha.
So what I'm going to do is, for the way back, we'll talk about Lender and a few of the other items.
Okay.
For everybody watching, there will be a bonus video where JP, who's with us today in the back, will ask a few follow-up questions with John, and that video will be linked in the description as well. Thank you very much, John. Really appreciate it, and we hope to have you back soon.
Absolutely, definitely.
All right, we got JP in the back with us here today. In the future, just a heads up, if you want to participate, you can go to maninthemodlx.com and we'll actually have a car for each of the different days we're recording, and you can try to reserve a seat in the back if you want to participate and ask questions of the people we're working with. So just a heads up. But anyway, JP, as you were listening to John here and some of his exciting adventures through life, what are some questions that came to mind, or anything in particular you'd like to ask him?
Yeah, man. So first, thanks for having me on. I've been in the Model X, and this is exciting. Hope to be here and be a part of this project. So yeah, John, I was listening to you. You know, you're part of the SEDS, and that's really cool. So a question that I thought might intrigue you is, so say that Elon Musk and SpaceX, they do a raffle and for a free trip to Mars when that's ready to go. And so you win that raffle, and you have a choice of 4 tickets that you get to choose from. You can either be on the first trip, you know, highly risky.
Yeah.
Yeah, big chance of not making it back.
Yeah.
But when you get there, you get to help set up the civilization. You know, you get to be the leader of the community there, and really part of what the first bit of Mars. Like you're. I don't really want to use Columbus as a analogy, but you know, you get to really start things out there, which is cool.
Luckily, there are no indigenous peoples to, you know.
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Who knows? It might be aliens. Who knows?
Yeah. Kind of give curiosity a what for.
Exactly. So the second ticket is, you know, not quite as risky, better chance of coming back. But you can go and you still get a decent leadership role in the community, but you know, you get to kind of just go and fit in, kind of work with how things are working out over there, right? And then the third ticket, you know, pretty much no risk. You can easily come back. It's you just go in, fit in, maybe, I mean, you're pretty new to you know, Mars. It's been around for a while though, so you can go and probably start something cool, or you're just gonna go and find some place to provide value.
Yeah.
Or the fourth ticket is you can gift your ticket to somewhere else. You're not risking that at all.
Man, I wish this was before his announcement, because I had for you know, Elon Musk comes up to my door and says, hey, we're testing the Dragon V2, you're the first person on. I would be like, yep, cool, take me. You know, or do an orbital little whirl and then come right back down, and that would just, no questions asked. So Mars, I think I really like my Netflix, and once they have the deep space network, you know, really working, I think I'd be, and maybe all the social experiments worked out. That's something I think a lot about, with putting 100 people in a ship for however long. I think he said 80 days, and then however long on the Mars surface. I think I'd have to take that third ticket, you know, once we know that space radiation and that stress on those long duration missions isn't gonna make people go a little cuckoo. You know?
Yeah, right.
And I like the option of coming back. I like the option of coming back.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
Right on.
yeah, definitely. That was also a great question.
Thanks. So yeah, another one, you know, you're talking about how after starting the record company, you know, that was kind of one of your biggest failures, but you learned a lot from it. And, you know, I'm a big believer of failures being just a great learning experience. Not necessarily a bad thing, just a way to gain feedback and how to move forward. Just kind of wondering what are some of the things you learned from that failure?
People. Be as forthright, honest, and amazing to the people you're ultimately working for and with. You know, there's maintaining relationships and keeping them as on the up and up as possible is the foremost thing you can do to be successful in my humble opinion. And then pay bills on time, because I definitely slipped up on that on one very hilarious but not so hilarious occasion. and be willing to learn as much as possible. Keep the ego out of it as much as possible, and just be able to learn and reach out and actually engage people to figure out what you might be doing wrong. Don't be frustrated by feedback. Actually take it into account and think about it. So, I think those are my 3. Thanks.
Like I said, and that's what I thought was really cool about the way you answered. When you said, that's one of my great failures. Those are really cool responses. You were like, how did it go so well?
Yeah.
This is a lot about who you are.
Yeah.
What would you say are some principles that you live by?
Oh man.
Or why don't you pick a top principle?
Yeah.
What's a guiding?
Honesty, always. There's, if somebody's having a bad day and they look like shit, you obviously don't want to be like, you're off, you just look horrible. But I mean, honesty on the big things that really matter. Honesty and transparency in all things, because there's, no matter what, you're gonna screw yourself over by lying, and you never want to be on that end where you're lying about something and then you have to think about how to cover up. Just life's less complicated when you don't lie and bullshit people.
Right.
That's
Definitely.
that's
even when it's bad sometimes too, right? When you're honest, people seem to respect you more for it. Even when it's tough news.
Yeah.
You're like, all right,
yeah. And that's actually something that I really learned from the military. Was just integrity was a huge part of it, because if you screw something up and you don't say you left a wrench on a plane or something, and it gets into the engine or something like that, that's a kind of a simple and extreme case.
So that was actually another interesting thing I wanted to kind of dive into a little more. Was you mentioned how you went into the military to kind of learn discipline, and that's something I'm also trying to work on a lot myself, is becoming more disciplined.
Definitely.
What were some things you learned about discipline and staying disciplined going to the military?
I still don't think I'm excellent at it, so this is going to be another tough question. Getting the little things out of the way first. Like if you're having a really hard time, overwhelmed, frustrated, it's easy to kind of get into the mindset of oh my god, there's way too much going on, there's way too much to do, I'll never get it all done, I'm gonna piss this person off maybe, and just get out of bed first, put one pant leg on first and then the other, and if you can't fit everything in, just prioritize. I don't know if that was a great way of answering that, but
I think that's it, man. Prioritize and execute. That's what Jocko Willing. Have you heard Jocko Willing?
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Heard the name, but
he's got a good podcast. I highly recommend checking out.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
man.
definitely.
He's an ex-Navy SEAL.
Oh,
And depth Ramadi, really intense.
Talk about
all really good principles about leadership.
Awesome.
That's one of them where I'll just prioritize and execute.
very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Great stuff.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Well, thank you, JP.
Yeah.
Appreciate those questions.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm gonna be thinking about those questions for the next few days at least.
Definitely.
Very cool.